everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nurse Akosia, and today I want us to talk about my experience too. I already have a video up here. You can click it to watch the first my experience if you'd like to go ahead, and then you can come back here and then continue with what I have for you today. Yeah, I know it's been a while, and I needed some time to do some personal stuff. So, yeah, let's get started. So, today I want us to talk about my experience that is comparing the things that is done in the United States to the things that is done in Ghana when it comes to nursing. So, today I'm going to start with the other one. I talked about some things that we do here and some things that we use here. So I'm going to talk about mostly the same things, but it's mostly the things that are done here. First of all, when I started working here, the first thing you have to know about being a nurse in the United States is after you have passed the NCLEX, going to work in a hospital or in the unit, depending on whatever you're going to practice, most of the things that you practice, you need certifications. Yes. The NCLEX is just like the basic thing. But then after that, you're supposed to get certifications. And the first certification that you're supposed to get is Basic Life Support, or BLS. We have ACLS for critical care, and we have NRP, we have a whole lot of certifications. But then the BLS, it's in one of my videos. I actually mentioned that it is actually required for all health professionals in the United States. Another thing is when you are going to do certain things, like I know in the neuro units, if you are going to do the NIH stroke scale, you will not be able to do that on a patient unless you are certified to do it. Yes. There are other things, like if you are on the cardiac unit, you have to get certain certifications for you to be able to attend to actual cardiac patients. Like if a patient is going to have a heart cath, you have to have certain certifications for you to be able to prepare that patient for the procedure. Another thing is also to update your certifications. Most of the certifications last a year. Some also last 2 years. Like my BLS, it lasts for 2 years. And it will surprise you. The hospital has, I don't know, but where I work, they have all the necessary education, as I mentioned in another one of my videos. We have your nurse educator, but then there the other certifications. When you start working, you have to make sure that you update it. Make sure it's updated. Make sure that it is still valid. So if it's like for a year, right, maybe before it expires or when it expires, you will be reminded. Sometimes it's through email, or they're going to text you that you have to complete this because your certification expired. And also when it comes to your license, you're going to get an email from my hospital. They send an email, a reminder, like 3 months to the time that your license is going to expire, to remind you that you need to update your license by this date. Also, we have modules that we actually complete when you start working during your orientation. It's not just your orientation, actually. When you start working every year, you are required to complete certain amount of educational modules. So you're going to go through all of them completed. You do assessments and make sure that you meet the passing mark. Yeah. And most of them are like 95 to 100. Some of them is 100, whether you like it or not. You're supposed to get 100%. Yeah, that's nursing for you. Another thing is vaccinations. Yes. Back where I come from, when when you're out of nursing school and you get a job, that's it for you. You start working, whatever vaccination, depending on whatever vaccination it is. Maybe let's say if it's hepatitis B vaccine, or if you want to get tetanus, or if you want to get any vaccine to protect yourself while you're working in the hospital, it's solely up to you. You will have to spend your money to vaccinate. I remember I took my hepatitis B vaccine back in school when I didn't have any money. But then, what can I say? What can I do? I need to protect myself. So when I tested and then I got to know that I'm free and I can vaccinate, I spent my money on it and to get the vaccine, and it's still protecting me. So one thing I noticed about nursing here in the United States compared to Ghana is the vaccination. When you get a job, like you applied to the job, you had your interview, you had um, everything that you're supposed to do, and you're ready to go on board. The thing is for them to start, for you to start on your preferred start date. When you have your start date waiting for you, you have to make sure that you complete all the necessary vaccinations. And what you're going to do is they're going to send you a link to where they prefer you to have your test and everything. They're going to draw some blood, and then they're going to check your immunity. So for me, for example, um, I've had my MMR, I've had hepatitis B vaccine, and like you're also required to have chicken pox. But if you've had chicken pox before, you can provide them with a date. If you don't have the dates, then try as much as possible to remember when you had it. And others, I don't remember the rest of them, but they're quite a lot. They're going to test your immunity to find out if the vaccine is still working, like if it's still strong in your system. If not, then they're going to give you a booster. However, if you are not vaccinated, they're going to vaccinate you. Like the tetanus, I have never had it. So when I came here, I was scheduled to have it. And here too, unlike Ghana, we do take the flu shot. It is mandatory for all health professionals. So some people react to it. If you react to it, you have to find a way to make the hospital understand that you cannot take the flu shot. However, it is required. You have to take all those vaccines before you are able to start. But the good thing is it's all taken care of by the hospital. They're gonna take care of. They're gonna take care of all the costs. So all you have to do is just take your body there, and then you're gonna get the vaccines, a lot of shots. The needles here are really tiny, so you don't feel much. Even though I'm not a needle person, even when I look at the needle, I still, jump about and everything. But it's so tiny. I don't know the kind of needles that we get from Ghana, but the ones we have here are so tiny. And well, because of that, it's so easy to get your vaccine. Well, that's a joke. Another thing that I found here that is so surprising, and when you compare to Ghana, I would say that in Ghana, I would prefer how it was done in Ghana. However, there are advantages to it and there are disadvantages to it as well. But I was very, very surprised here. When it comes to medication of your patients, first of all, let me talk about the medication of your patients, then we'll come to you, the staff. Um, when it comes to medication of the patient, every single medication has to be ordered. It doesn't matter if the patient has a high temperature and you want to give Tylenol. In Ghana, it's paracetamol because Tylenol is a little stronger. So let me say acetaminophen. Yeah, it has to be ordered. It has to be ordered by the doctor. If you go ahead and find, even the way the system is set up, we use Pixis. The way the system is set up, you will not be able to take any Tylenol for the patient if it's not ordered for the patient. But then, if you find a way to get it out and give it to the patient, you're in trouble. It means you are practicing medicine without medical license. Trust me, that was shocking. And the thing about a staff also is, let's say you go to work and you have a headache. There's no Tylenol for you. So buy yours, put it in your purse or maybe your bag or your locker. Nobody has Tylenol sitting there waiting for you, like if you have a headache. If you have a headache and you think it's too much, you have to go through the normal route to get medicated, like to see a doctor, and then it will be prescribed for you and all that. Yeah, that is how it is here. Unlike in Ghana, I remember I used to be able to just walk straight to the lab to get some labs done just to check things about myself and make sure that I'm healthy. Here it's not like that. You have to go through the doctor to get the orders and everything before you're able to get certain things done, like the whole Tylenol thing and also the labs, just to make sure you're fine. The only thing you can go ahead and do every time on yourself is your vital signs. Yeah, things are really strict over here. And trust me, there are advantages, as I said, and there are disadvantages. But I feel like the Tylenol part in Ghana compared to here is it really helps because sometimes you actually know that the headache is due to stress and you're at work and you know you're already stressed, and the only thing that can help you is Tylenol. And because of that, you have to go through the entire process just to get a prescription for Tylenol. Or you have to go home, and the next day when you're coming, you walk through a pharmacy and then get it, purchase that, and then take it, which is a long part. Like it's a long thing. It's too long for me. Well, you do have the reasons because some people abuse medication. So yeah, that is understandable. Another thing is with the same medications. Let's say a patient is on metoprolol, and you know that with the pharmacology that you studied, metoprolol is you cannot give it if the patient's heart rate is below 60. And some doctors they put the parameters in the order, but most of the times there's no parameter. So let's say the patient is scheduled to have metoprolol, and then you check the heart rate before and it was below 60, and you want to hold it and there are no parameters. Make sure you page the doctor, ask the doctor, patient's heart rate is below 60. Would you like me to go ahead and give metoprolol, or would you like me to hold? And they're gonna respond with hold. Or if they insist you give, that is where your nursing also comes in, because you know perfectly well you're not supposed to, and the doctor says still give it. Then that is where the critical thinking comes in. You can talk to your charge, or if there's no charge, you can talk to whoever the supervisor is, because you know perfectly well that it's going to get you into trouble. There are some medications that the doctor might say give. You never know what's going on with the doctor, and then they told you to give a medication when it's not supposed to give. So sometimes when if they say that, you all know in nursing it's a general thing. If a doctor says give something and you know perfectly where you're not supposed to give, then you ask the doctor, can you give me um, a very good reason why I should give this patient this medication when I'm not supposed to give it? Yeah, it happens all the time. Sometimes it's just a human error. That's why we work as a team. But then what you have to do, my point is, if you want to hold a medication, you contact the doctor, you page the doctor and ask, would you like me to still go ahead? If you think their yes was not a good yes, talk to your charge or talk to whoever is supervising you. Yes. Because if you give it, it's going to be in your name. Another thing that is also quite, it is quite new to me is, but I think I like it as compared to Ghana. You cannot discuss a patient's diagnosis with them. Nope, you can't. That is also practicing medicine without a license. So you can educate based on whatever diagnosis they know. You will not tell them this is what is wrong with you. You don't. It is the doctor. So when the most of the times the patients are gonna ask you, they will meet you and they'll be like, so what exactly is going on with me? Here's what I do. Did you see the doctor today? If they said yes, and I'll ask, what did they say? What were the things that they talked to you about? And based on their information, you can educate them. However, if they tell you that the doctor didn't tell them anything, what I tell them is, if that discussion, I'll just tell them that it is not within my ability to discuss exactly what is going on with you. And you have to be very polite about it, and apologize, because it's very inconvenient. So I tell them that whatever is going on with you, I do know, however, it is not within my ability to discuss it with you. So I would suggest that when the doctor comes in tomorrow, you can discuss that with the doctor and they can tell you everything. And do ask them anything. Let them know that they can ask anything. And let me tell you the truth, patients are the same everywhere. Doctors come, they don't ask questions. The nurse comes in and then they start asking questions. It's the same everywhere. I'm telling you the truth. Some really know what they want to do, what they want. Some of them too are just like the other patients that we know already. Yeah. So you have to find a way to make them understand your limits and what you can and cannot do. Another thing that I noticed here also is we have a team for critical response. Like, we do have rapid response team. We have the code blue team. We have we have codes. And when you see the badge that we hang in front of us, one of them has it has all the codes and then the numbers to dial. But as time goes on, you get used to it. And even with the code blue, we don't dial numbers. It's a button that you're either gonna pull or you're gonna press. That's code blue, because code blue is the person is dying. Like, the person is actually dead, going like 90% in. We just want to bring the person back. That's so we don't have the time to be dialing numbers. So yeah, the code blue is when the patient's heart stops, and yeah, that's when you pull the code blue button. You pull the code blue button. So, but then there are steps to follow. You start your CPR. First of all, you call for help. Start your CPR, and that's it. And that's what the BLS is for. That's where you're gonna practice your BLS. The first time I had a code blue, oh my gosh, it was a lot, because I've never seen something like that, because in Ghana there's no such thing as code blue. I feel like in Ghana every patient is DNR, as in do not resuscitate, unless maybe the patient was, or the person was just standing there and then the patient just collapsed, or something, and their heart wasn't beating anymore. Then that's when I see people doing CPR in Ghana, I think. But here in the hospital, when you come, it's something that is required. They ask you if you want to be, resuscitated, or you do not want to be resuscitated, and there are a whole lot of documentation that goes on there, and that is also not your duty. It is the doctors that discuss it with the patient, and during admission, you just go over that with them. So yeah, that is it. We have the rapid response. The rapid response is actually for rapid response. You have your patient, and your patient, they have parameters where you're gonna call rapid response. So let's say your patient is in there with you, and then all of a sudden they are not in their normal. Like, let's say the blood pressure goes so low that there's nothing you can do about it, and you call the rapid response. Let's say there are a whole lot of things that you're gonna call rapid response. You try your nursing while you're calling rapid response, and yeah, that is also quite a little bit like code blue, but code blue is a whole dramatic, like, yeah, you gotta be on your toes and be running up and down. But one thing is, you, the nurse, if you are the nurse for the patient who coded, or the patient in the rapid response or whatever, You are not part of the whole deal. You're not part of the whole thing that is going on. You're gonna stand there with your wow. With wow, the wow is what you have. It's the nurse's mobile station where you have the patient's information, because you know your patient, you know the patient. So they're gonna ask you so many questions. You'll be given information. That is your duty as the nurse whose patient coded or something. That's how it works. You do not get involved in the whole code blue thing. Well, the only thing you get involved in is you were there when the patient coded. So when you started a CPR, definitely you are going to start the CPR. But apart from that, if the code blue team gets there, you are going to start giving them the necessary information that they need to be able to resuscitate the patient. Yeah, so those the codes, we don't have it where I come from, but here, and it's really beautiful. You know, the whole thing is organized. They have the crash cart, and the crash cart has everything in it, and it's always locked, waiting for a code, like a code blue. Yeah. So yeah, that is also another thing that I've noticed over here. Another thing is also the alarm systems in the hospital. In the United States, a fall, like a patient falling down, is a big deal. It's a very big deal. That if your patient falls, you're gonna fill out a whole lot of documentation. Trust me, you're gonna fill out like an encyclopedia because your patient fell. Yeah. A fall is very, very, very serious here. It's taken very seriously here. So we have the bed alarms, and based on your assessment, you're going to determine if the patient is a high fall risk. And if the patient is a high fall risk, you're going to set the bed alarm. And we also have the call button. The call button is just a button where the patient hits to call the nurse if they want something, if they need assistance or something. But then when it comes to the alarms, there are different alarms that mean different things. The bed alarms, there's one that tells you the patient is trying to get out of bed, and there's one that actually tells you the patient is actually out of the bed. Yes, you get used to it as time goes on, but yeah, the bed alarm, it does help, especially if your patient is altered. Exactly, because if the patient is alert and oriented, there's not much to worry about, because when you talk to them, they do understand. But sometimes patient may be alert and oriented, but you talk to them and they'll be like, oh yeah, and the next thing, the bed alarm goes off. Yeah, it happens. Um, it's not their fault. Sometimes it's difficult for them to accept that they need some help from people. And yeah, you do have to understand. That's why they're your patients. Patients, yeah. And also with the beds that we use here, the beds, you're able to manipulate it. So like if you are turning the patient, or if you're doing something for the patient on the bed, like if you are giving the patient an IV line, you can bring the bed up to your height level. That makes it easier for you to work without bending your waist, so you don't end up getting waist problems after you're done with your patient. So yeah, you're able to bring the head of the bed up, the legs up, down, that whole thing. And there's one thing that I noticed, that we have beds that also is connected to the system, is automated, and it actually talks to the patient for the patient to stay in bed. I don't know how it's connected though, but when I saw, I was like, ooh, nice, the bed that talks. It will tell the patient to stay in and wait for assistance. Yeah. Another thing that I noticed also is the report. I do nights. So if you are a nurse, if you've been a nurse for quite a while, you will know that the 24-hour report is done by the night shift nurses. The 24-hour report is done by the night shift nurses everywhere. I don't know if it's different anywhere, but in Ghana, what I know is the night shift, you do the report, and here it's the same. However, the difference is, in Ghana, we used to write a whole lot of essays. There's a report book. You're gonna write an essay. You're gonna write exactly what happened on the unit and everything. Yeah, that is the charge's responsibility, and it's actually a summary with the charges when they're sending a report to the nurse manager. It's more like a summary of what happened on the unit during the shift in the 24-hour report. However, you, the individual nurses, you're going to give a 24-hour report on your patients. For that, some hospitals do not do it. Some hospital is done by the charge nurses, but my hospital, it is done by you, the individual nurses, and I do appreciate it because it helps you learn a lot about the whole thing. If you should go into management, you're not going to ask anybody to help you do certain things. It's more like a case management thing, but I think it's good if you know it too. So we do have a report sheet. It's called the MDDRs. It's a rounding sheet that you are going to give to the day nurse, and then they're going to do rounds with the report that you give. So you're going to fill it out. It's a sheet, like an A4 sheet, and it has the questions and stuff in it. You're going to fill it out with all the necessary information. And yeah, when you're in the morning, when you're giving your report to the day nurse, you're going to give that to them as well. So whatever you write on there, we do have the boards too. That's where they do the rounds in that room. So whatever you write on that sheet, you put it on the boards. And when they go to the board room to have the rounds, make sure that whatever you have on that paper is the same as what's on the board, and make it easier for the day shift nurse. I always try to do my very best, because try putting yourself in their place, like doing that thing, and then the information in there is not good. Yeah. So yeah, that is the reporting system, the 24-hour report. Oh my Ghana, where you write an essay, and then they give you. What I remember is we used to get a small sheet plus the whole essay thing. So you write a lot in Ghana. Here the charting is a lot, but you don't write much. Yeah. And my unit is a telemetry unit. So telemetry, they're gonna bring you your EKG strips, the cardiac rhythms. You're gonna chart it. Yeah, you're gonna chart it yourself, and when you're done, you just put it in the patient's file. That's it. We have things that the hospital gives to the patient when they come in there, like we have toothbrushes, they have the toothpaste, they have mouthwash, they have briefs, they have sanitary pad, they have eye mask, they have earplugs, they have a whole lot of things, a whole lot of things. Yeah, that's it. And I don't know, it's probably added to the bill or something, but I don't know. But it's all offered to the patient to make their stay comfortable and as nice as possible. And with my hospital, I don't know for other hospitals, every patient to a room. Yeah. And the room has a door. That's how it works. So yeah, these are the things that I have noticed so far. I may have left some out, and if I see more things or I remember more things, you stay tuned for part 3. However, this is what I have for you today. If you have any other questions, if you have any if you want to know anything, just put it in the comment section below, or you can email me. I have my email down there. You can email me your questions, and I will be glad to assist you. It may take a little while, but then I will definitely respond to you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and to all my subscribers, thank you for subscribing to my channel. Have a great day and stay tuned for more videos. Bye-bye.